Forget everything you think you know about history's greatest heists. We're ripping through the Hollywood gloss, the sensationalized headlines, and the watered-down documentaries to lay bare the raw, electrifying truth that will leave you speechless. These aren't just crimes, they're intricate symphonies of cunning nerve and jaw-dropping errors that transformed ordinary men into legends or left them broken by their own ambition. From the glittering vaults of London's Diamond District to a lone figure parachuting into a stormy night, we're diving deep into 5 of history's most audacious heists. The Hatton Garden Heist, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum theft, the Antwerp Diamond Heist, the Great Train Robbery, and the enigmatic D.B. Cooper hijacking. Each is a saga of meticulous planning, heart-pounding execution, and shocking twists, some solved, others taunting us with unanswered questions. These stories aren't just about stolen riches, they're about the human drive to defy the impossible, the razor-thin line between genius and madness, and the haunting consequences that linger for decades. Buckle up for a wild ride through deception, daring, and the truth behind the myths that will keep you on the edge of your seat. A heist is no mere theft. It's a high-stakes chess match against the world's most formidable security systems, where every move is calculated, every risk weighed, and every flaw exploited. The masterminds behind these capers weren't your run-of-the-mill criminals. They were visionaries, architects of chaos who spent months, sometimes years, crafting plans that turned impregnable fortresses into open doors. Some were grizzled, career criminals with a lifetime of tricks up their sleeves. Others were lone wolves armed with nothing but audacity and a dream. These heists required not just brains, but an almost obsessive attention to details, studying blueprints, learning guard routines, even mastering the psychology of their targets. Today, we'll unmask the truth behind 5 legendary heists. The Hatton Garden Heist, where pensioners pulled off a multi-million-pound score. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum theft, a $500 million art heist still unsolved. The Antwerp Diamond Heist, a surgical strike on the world's most secure vault. The Great Train Robbery, Britain's crime of the century. And the D.B. Cooper hijacking, the only unsolved air piracy in history. These tales are packed with brilliance, blunders, and mysteries that will redefine what you think a heist can be. Let's dive into the minds that dared to dream the impossible. In April 2015, London's Hatton Garden, the epicenter of the UK's diamond trade, became the stage for a heist that sounded like a Hollywood script. A gang of aging career criminals, some in their 70s, dubbed the Diamond Geezers, targeted the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company to steal £14 million in jewels, gold, and cash. Their plan was a masterclass in old-school grit, drilled through a 20-inch reinforced concrete vault wall over the Easter bank holiday when London's streets were deserted. For over a year, they studied architectural plans, scoured security schedules, and uncovered a critical flaw: the vault's external alarm was unmonitored during holidays. A detail missed by even the savviest security firms. Their star tool was a 3,000-pound Hilti DD350 diamond-tipped drill, capable of slicing through concrete and rebar. To access the vault, they exploited an overlooked elevator shaft, bypassing street-level cameras. They even rigged a makeshift ventilation system to clear concrete dust, ensuring they could breathe in the cramped basement. A tiny but crucial detail: they learned the vault's fire escape doubled as an entry point, a back door left unchecked. This heist was a testament to experience over youth, proving that cunning and patience could outwit even the most modern defenses. On March 18, 1990, Boston's Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum was robbed of $500 million in art masterpieces by Rembrandt, Vermeer, Degas, and Manin, a heist that remains unsolved. The thieves' strategy was brilliantly simple: pose as police officers responding to a disturbance. For months, they studied the museum's vulnerabilities: unarmed guards, no direct police alarm, and a night staff untrained for emergencies. Their key prop was a stolen police uniform, likely sourced from a surplus store, paired with fake badges and a convincing story. A game-changing detail they struck at 1:24 a.m. during St. Patrick's Day celebrations, when Boston's police were swamped with drunken chaos, ensuring a delayed response. They knew the museum's motion detectors only covered rooms, not the art itself, allowing them to cut paintings from frames without triggering alarms. To throw off suspicion, they carried walkie-talkies, mimicking real cops. This heist wasn't about guns or explosives. It was a psychological masterpiece, exploiting trust and timing to steal treasures that still elude the FBI. The 2003 Antwerp diamond heist, led by Italian thief Leonardo Notarbartolo, targeted the Antwerp Diamond Center, a fortress with 10 layers of security, infrared sensors, seismic detectors, magnetic alarms, and a combination lock with 100 million possible codes. The crew spent 2 years planning, with Notarbartolo posing as a diamond dealer to rent an office inside the building, giving him unfettered access to study its defenses. They built a replica vault to practice, using hairspray to neutralize infrared sensors, a custom aluminum plate to bypass magnetic fields, and a handheld camera to record the lock's dial for later decoding. A critical detail they discovered: the vault's security cameras recorded to VHS tapes easily disabled by cutting a single wire. They even used a vacuum to clean up their tracks, leaving no trace of their presence. Another overlooked flaw: the vault's key was stored in a nearby safe, which they cracked using stolen codes. This heist was a surgical operation, blending high-tech tools with low-tech cunning to outsmart a seemingly impregnable system. On August 8, 1963, a 15-man gang in rural England executed the Great Train Robbery, stealing £2.6 million equivalent to £69 million today from a Royal Mail train. Their plan was audacious, yet elegantly simple: stop a moving train by rigging a signal. For months, they studied train schedules, relying on an insider postal worker who revealed the Glasgow to London train carried unmarked, untraceable cash in used banknotes. Their unconventional tool was a glove placed over the signal light, powered by a car battery to mimic a red stop signal. They chose Sears Crossing, a remote bridge with no witnesses, ensuring privacy. A crucial detail: they knew the trains. Mailbags were unsecured, making the cash easy to grab. The gang assigned roles like a military unit: signal tamperers, muscle drivers, and lookouts. They even rehearsed the heist in a field, timing each step to perfection. This caper was a blend of meticulous research and raw nerve, redefining robbery as a coordinated assault. On November 24, 1971, a man calling himself D.B. Cooper boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305 and pulled off the only unsolved hijacking in U.S. history. His plan was a law-involved masterpiece: hijack a Boeing 727, extort $200,000, and parachute into the night. Cooper's preparation was obsessive. He chose a 727 for its unique rear air stair, studied flight paths to ensure a low, slow escape route, and knew the plane's fuel range could sustain his demands. His bomb was a bundle of flares wired to look deadly, a prop convincing enough to control the crew. A brilliant detail: he demanded 4 parachutes, suggesting he might take hostages, which threw the FBI into disarray. He specified $20 bills, lighter for carrying, and insisted on a non-military parachute showing aviation knowledge. He even wore loafers, easily ditched to avoid leaving tracks. Cooper's heist was a daring gamble, exploiting the vulnerabilities of 1970s air travel with the precision of a surgeon and the nerve of a stuntman over the Easter weekend of 2015. The Hatton Garden crew descended into the vault's basement via the elevator shaft, armed with their Hilti drill, crowbars, and sheer determination. For 3 nights, they worked in shifts in a cramped, dusty space, the drill's whine a constant threat in the silent city. The first night was a disaster. The drill jammed, forcing a member to scramble for a replacement pump at dawn. On the second night, they hit a steel cabinet blocking the vault, an obstacle they hadn't foreseen. In a moment of quick thinking, they used hydraulic jacks meant for lifting cars to force it open, bending steel with brute force. The air grew thick with concrete dust, but their ventilation system kept them going. By Monday, they'd breached 73 safe deposit boxes, stuffing wheelie bins with jewels, gold, and cash. They slipped into London's dawn, leaving a trail of dust and stunned security guards. The tension of those nights, with time ticking and alarms silent, made this heist a gritty testament to endurance and nerve. At 1:24 a.m. on March 18, 1990, 2 police officers knocked on the Gardner Museum's door, claiming to investigate a disturbance. The young guards, lulled by the uniforms and St. Patrick's Day chaos, buzzed them in. Within minutes, the thieves dropped their ruse, handcuffing the guards with duct tape and locking them in the basement. Moving with chilling efficiency, they navigated the galleries, cutting 13 masterpieces Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee, Vermeer's The Concert from their frames in 90 minutes. A heart-stopping moment came when one thief slipped on a staircase, nearly dropping a Rembrandt, but steadied himself. They avoided motion detectors by sticking to blind spots and disabled the local alarm with a quick snip. Their walkie-talkies crackled, mimicking real cops, and they checked for witnesses through windows. By 2:45 a.m., they vanished into Boston's night, leaving empty frames and a mystery that lingers like a ghost. On February 16, 2003, Notarbartolo's crew slipped into the Antwerp Diamond Center after hours, using their rented office as a staging ground. In under 2 hours, they bypassed 10 security layers, infrared sensors sprayed with hairspray, seismic detectors fooled by slow movements, and a combination lock cracked with recorded footage. The high-risk moment came when a guard's unscheduled patrol nearly caught them, but an insider's frantic call warned them to freeze. Their tools, a custom aluminum plate, bolt cutters, and a vacuum, worked like magic. A near-fatal blunder. Notarbartolo tossed a sandwich wrapper in a nearby car, leaving DNA. Still, they looted $100 million in diamonds, small enough to hide in a pen, and escaped before dawn. The vault's owners arrived to find an empty fortress, oblivious until they checked the boxes. This execution was so clean, it felt like a heist from a sci-fi novel. To 3 a.m. on August 8, 1963. The Glasgow to London mail train approached Sears Crossing, where the gang had rigged a false red signal. With a glove and a car battery, masked and wielding iron bars, they stormed the train, overpowering the crew in minutes. The critical moment came when driver Jack Mills resisted, suffering a head injury that later fueled public outrage. In a frenzied 15 minutes, they loaded 120 mailbags, 2.5 tons of cash into a truck, racing to Leather Slade Farm. The tension was electric. One wrong move, like a passing car, could have blown the plan. A costly mistake loomed. They played Monopoly with real banknotes at the hideout, leaving fingerprints on the board and a ketchup bottle. The execution was a chaotic triumph, blending speed and violence into a caper that shocked the world. On November 24, 1971, Cooper, in a suit and tie, boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305 and passed a note to a flight attendant. "I have a bomb." Showing her the flares, he demanded $200,000 for parachutes and a flight to Mexico. After landing in Seattle to collect the ransom, he released the passengers but kept the crew. At 8 p.m., over Washington's rugged wilderness, He lowered the 727's rear air stair and jumped into a stormy night. With the plane flying at 10,000 feet and 200 miles per hour, the risk was insane. Turbulence and freezing temperatures could have killed him instantly, but his knowledge of the 727's capabilities gave him a shot. A near failure. The FBI nearly deployed fighter jets, but Cooper's hostage ruse delayed them. He vanished, leaving a stunned crew and a nation obsessed with his fate. The Hatton Garden gang fled through London's backstreets, splitting their £14 million haul in safe houses. They thought they'd pulled off the perfect crime, but their age and arrogance betrayed them. CCTV captured their faces, unmasked in moments of carelessness. Phone records and a boastful member, Basil, whose texts bragged about the score, led police to their doors. Within weeks, 9 men were arrested, with 7 convicted, receiving up to 7 years. Police recovered £9 million, but £5 million in jewels remains missing, possibly stashed in a cemetery or sold on the black market. The heist-inspired films like King of Thieves and The Hatton Garden Job. But the Diamond Geezers traded riches for prison cells, proving that even the boldest plans unravel with a single slip. The Gardner thieves vanished into Boston's night, leaving no fingerprints and no trace of the $500 million in art. The FBI suspects the Merlino gang, a Boston mob outfit, but no arrests have been made in 35 years. The paintings Rembrandt's, The Storm on the Sea of Galilee, Vermeer's. The concert remain missing, with a $10 million reward unclaimed. Theories range from mob hits to international smuggling, with some speculating the art is hidden in Ireland or destroyed in a turf war. The museum's empty frames, still hanging, are a poignant symbol of loss, drawing thousands to stare at absence. The case remains active, fueled by tips and false leads, making it a ghost story that haunts the art world and true crime fans alike. No Tara Bartolos. DNA on that sandwich wrapper led to his arrest in 2005, a rookie mistake in an otherwise flawless plan. Sentenced to 10 years, he served 5, claiming the $100 million haul was largely fake diamonds planted by crooked dealers to inflate insurance claims. Only $20 million was recovered, with the rest likely scattered across black markets in Eastern Europe or Asia. His crew faced lighter sentences, and some diamonds may still be hidden in safe houses or private collections. Notar Bartolo became a folk hero, his heist dubbed the crime of the century by Wired. But the arrest showed that even the most meticulous plans can't account for human error. Rapper tossed in haste undid years of genius. The train robbers hid in Leatherslade Farm, celebrating with Monopoly and real cash, but their fingerprints on the board and a ketchup bottle led police to them within days. 12 of the 15 were caught, with sentences up to 30 years. Ronnie Biggs escaped to Brazil, living as a fugitive for 36 years, taunting authorities with media stunts before surrendering in 2001. Most of the £2.6 million was recovered. But the gang's brutal tactics, especially Mill's injury, turned public sympathy to scorn. The heist-inspired films like Buster and The Great Train Robbery, cementing its place in British lore. Yet, most robbers spent their prime in prison, their fleeting triumph overshadowed by years of confinement. Cooper's fate is America's greatest unsolved mystery. In 1980, $5,800 of his $200,000 ransom was found on a Washington riverbank, waterlogged and buried, but no body, parachute, or further clues surfaced. The FBI chased 1,000 suspects, from a copycat hijacker who died in a similar jump to a Boeing employee with aviation expertise. But all leads fizzled. Theories abound. He died in the jump, succumbing to freezing rain and 200 mph winds. He survived and fled to Mexico or Asia. Or he lived quietly in the U.S., laughing at the manhunt. The FBI closed the case in 2016, but Cooper's $200,000 worth $1.3 million today, remains largely unrecovered. His legend lives in songs, movies like Without a Paddle, and Reddit threads, making him the ultimate Phantoma man who beat the Sicto. Man who beat the system or paid the ultimate price. These heists are more than tales of stolen riches, they're windows into the human psyche, where ambition, greed, and the thrill of defying the odds collide. The Hatton Garden crew proved age is no barrier to daring, but their sloppy CCTV slip showed time catches everyone. The Gardner heist exposed how trust can be a fatal flaw. Its empty frames, a haunting reminder of what's lost when justice stalls. Antwerp's precision redefined heist planning, yet a sandwich wrapper proved no one's perfect. The Great Train Robbery captured a nation's imagination but showed violence taints glory, turning heroes into villains. And D.B. Cooper. He's the ultimate enigma, a lone figure who gambled everything and vanished, leaving us to wonder if he won or lost. Their legacies reshaped the world. Hatton Garden tightened vault security, forcing new alarm protocols. Gardner spurred museums to arm guards and install direct police links. Antwerp exposed diamond trade vulnerabilities, leading to stricter regulations. The train robbery revolutionized British policing, creating the Flying Squad. And Cooper ended rear air stairs on planes, ushering in modern airport security. These capers fueled pop culture films like The Hatton Garden Job, series like Pierce Brosnan's History's Greatest Heists, and countless books and podcasts. They sparked debates. Are these thieves masterminds or fools? Is it greed, thrill, or desperation that drives them? They challenge us to question the line between criminal and genius, daring us to imagine pulling off the perfect heist only to wonder what tiny slip, like a wrapper or a fingerprint, would bring it crashing. Down which heist left you reeling? Was it the pensioners drilling through concrete, the fake cops stealing Rembrandts, or Cooper's leap into legend? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us, could you outsmart the system, or would one mistake undo you? Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more true crime stories that peel back history's greatest mysteries. The truth behind these heists isn't just in the loot hits in the human puzzle, the intoxicating dance of brilliance and folly that keeps us hooked, wondering where genius ends and madness begins.